Hey everyone, Nico in here from the Hyperactive Bookworm, here to do my 22-ish books that sum up my favourite readings of 2022. Now, I got this idea from the incredible Lee Winter, and I kind of ran with it a little and then kind of kept going. And so the idea was like top 10 or something. Yeah, I couldn't do that. So I've read almost 110 books this year. By the end of the year, I will have read 110. Of course, I started the year going, I'll read 150. About mid-year, I went, that's not happening. So I went down to 130. Yeah, I went down to 100 a couple months back. And that's okay, because what I've learned most about this entire year is the need to pivot. So much has happened in life, in writing, and in reading that pivoting is just part of life, and it's okay to say, hey, I was totally wrong. Let's go down there. I had a few book challenges. I did not read them. I did not manage them. I've been sick. And you know what? Again, that's okay. But I did read 110 books, so it was really hard to cut down my favorites. But I did manage. So let's start here. But what I want to say first is that while I don't have paperbacks or hard copies of all of these books, I do plan to have them. They are definitely on my must-have physical copy, and that will happen eventually. But I do have some paperbacks. I read a lot on the Kindle. I also listened to a lot, and all of these experiences are fabulous. So let's get into it. So the first category I have is my favorite 13 Sapphic fiction reads, because 13 is a fabulous number and I could not break it down any further than this. So let's start. So the first one is The Forever and the Now by the incredible KJ. This book broke me and revitalized me, and it made me believe in love. It made me believe in second chances. It made me cry like a little baby. It is not a happy ever after, but it is an amazing love story. It has characters that you love. I laughed out loud so many times in this book. I love every reference to Emma Thompson. I love the sarcasm. I love Bron, the main character. She is just the Teflon Queen and fabulous, and the story arc and the character development. Oh my God, this book means so much. All right, the next book is Girl Island by Kate Castle. Now, this book is amazing. It is a young adult. Sapphic is amazing and intense, and my gosh, you just don't want to finish reading it. It is great. It has so many dynamics. The character arcs are wonderful. The story is brilliant. You get into this book and you do not stop. It does not give up its grip on you. It is amazing, and Kate Castle is absolutely the sweetest. All right, the next is Path of War by David Green. So this is actually book 2 in his series, which I can never remember the name of the series, but I love these books. The first book was In Solitude Shadow. This book is about double the length, maybe longer, of In Solitude Shadow, but Path of War is just incredible. I was so lucky I got to read it as beta and ARC, and I need to get a copy of it eventually. But it is so great. Epic fantasies that are just phenomenal. His use of fantasy worlds and the world building is amazing, but the different cultures and the clashings and just absolutely incredible. Cannot wait for the next 2 books in this series. I think it's a 4-book series now. Not entirely sure. Okay, next book is A Curious Woman by Jess Lee. This is so much fun. Set in Australia, mystery, crime, so much fun. Such good writing. And I have recently heard there is a book 2 with these characters, and I am so looking forward to it. All right, the next one is Never Too Late for Heroes by A.L. Brooks. Yay! All right, so I have actually read quite a few of A.L. Brooks's books this year, and they're all fantastic. I've enjoyed every single one of them. But this book just, oh, it has my heart so entirely. Because, hey, I am a spec fic girl. I love it. And this is just so much fun. It is part of the Superheroine collection by Ilva, and it is just amazing. So the Superheroine collection is several different authors who have superheroines in them, basically. They're not in the same world. They're not connected, but the writing is just fantastic. This is actually the third in that series that I've read, and I can't wait to read a few more that I haven't actually gotten to yet. But this book is so great. I laughed out loud. So damn funny. So damn funny. So it is about retired superheroines, family of the Power Sisters. So freaking good. Second chance romance. There's two sort of love stories, romance stories going on in this. It is just phenomenal. Go check it out. All right, now the next book is, oh, this has my heart so much. So, The Heartbeat of a Million Dreams by Halo Scott. I was so lucky to get a review copy of this sent to my Kindle, and I was like, okay, not heard of this author, I'll take a look. Once I started it, I couldn't stop, and I had to go and get the physical. Like, I believe I ordered this before I even finished reading it the first time. I knew I had to have it. It is beautiful, absolutely amazing. It's novella. It's short in the word count, but it is intense and wonderful. It is sci-fi. It is sapphic. It is one of the best representations of neurodiversity I've ever read. It has very much a Philip K. Dick atmosphere to it, but so much more interesting a read. And I'm sure many people are going to be, poo-pooing me about this, but I enjoyed this more. But it has that gritty, dirty feel and this reluctant hero, and it is just brilliant. All right, where are we up to? Okay, cool. The next book is by the amazing Jay herself, Just a Touch Away. This book was so much fun. So, Ice Queen and complete sunshine happy girl. She is a professional cuddler, and they are forced to live together. And it is so much fun. I love it, the humor, and I love Winter, the Ice Queen in this. She comes across icy, but I don't know, there's just something more, a little bit more human to her right from the get-go, and I love it. And her humor shines through, and I love that the other character, the professional cuddler, is no pushover. She pushes back. She says, this is not the way it's going to happen. And I love just the quirky cuteness in this book, including the tea squirrel, the squirrel tea, and the doormat wars, which, if you've read it, that completely makes sense. If you haven't, hopefully that makes you curious enough to go read it, because it is so wonderful. The next one I read was a behemoth that I just absolutely love and adore, Purposefully Accidental by G. Benson. And when I say behemoth, I'm not kidding. It is such a long book, but you know what? When I read it, it didn't even feel that long. It was just so great and wonderful, and it has all the tropey goodness. So it is enemies to lovers, second chance. It is just fake romance. It is so absolutely adorable, and damn. Okay, so you wait so long for it, but whew, it works well. And it is so good. There is grief mixed in with absolute humor, and the balance that G. Benson has managed in this book is absolutely phenomenal. Go check it out. It is so great. I actually got to interview G. Benson about this book as well. And that was just a couple months back. Go check out the video. It is so good. Okay, now the next one, For the Long Run by Cheyenne Blue. Oh my gosh. Aussie goodness. So a professional runner basically, literally, falls over a fun runner who is dressed in a koala suit, and they end up being entangled with each other, and there's the cutest puppy dog, and it is so fun and so cool. Who ever thought I would enjoy sporty type books? But this was really cool, and I really loved it. Okay, trying to get through these. I'm sorry, I'm babbling way too much, but I can't help it. They're books and I love them. And you know what? No sorries, really. Okay, the next one is Crush by S.R. Silcox. Oh my God. Talk about Aussie goodness. So this book is young adult, new adult. So the main character is 17 and she has decided not to go to schoolies, instead to help her grandparents on their farm to do their annual Crush festival, which, you know, Crush. But she runs into, literally, what is it with these books and running into it? Australia must be dangerous. Yeah. Okay. So she runs into a character who's just visiting in town for a while, and she's mysterious and not, and it is just so beautiful and so fun. And I love this book. All right. Strange Attractors by Anna K. Wren. I need to get a copy of this book. Anna K. Wren is amazing and incredible, and this book is so dark and twisted, and it's set in dark academia, and I had so many thoughts and feelings and moments while reading this book. It was amazing. I also got to interview Anna, and that was absolutely incredible. She is so fun and lovely, and I just love her. And she's fantastic. Now, this book is just the iciest ice queen, unreliable narrators, some mysteries going on, the trauma. Then we have a secondary character who is just so honest and in your face and unapologetic for being exactly who she is. And I mean, how can you not love Crystal? How can you not? So Sonia and Crystal, fantastic book. All right. So the next book is Even Though I Knew the End by C.L. Polk. So this is a short book. It's a novella. It is amazing. I have never been drawn to historical books before, but these historical spec fic books are blowing my mind. So this book is set in the 1930s, Chicago. We get it from a witch's point of view, and it's amazing. So she is basically brought into and enticed to investigate the mystery of the white vampire who is murdering people. And there's a personal connection to this, and boom, mind blown. It is so good. It is so great. Such a quick, easy read. I couldn't put it down. I had to finish it. It was so wonderful. And then being Sapphic in the 1930s, you get all this real stuff that just hurt. The reality of it, just, you know, the secret doorways and secret rooms and the secret door knocks, just to be allowed to be yourself. And it's just phenomenal. It's so well done. Book number 13. I am getting there. The Long Way to a Small Angry Planet by Becky Chambers. Oh my God, sci-fi brilliance. So many different point of views. Absolutely brilliant and fantastic. Characters who are so well-rounded. I mean, characters you hate from one point of view, and then you get their point of view and you're like, oh, well, that all completely makes sense. And then you still kind of go, yeah, you're a bit of a prick, but I can understand it. And just the dynamics of dark and light in both characters. The main storyline is so brilliant. It pulls you across the story building, the world building, the cultures. Oh my gosh, delicious. All right, now, because I had to sneak more books in there that I love, because 13 is not enough, and that does not sum up all of the amazingness that I read this year. So I did some sneaky other categories. So my favorite reread. I mean, none of you should be shocked about this. If you are, you need to go back and watch more of my videos, because I mention this every single chance I get. Shattered, but amazing Lee Winter. Oh yes, I have reread this. I think I've read it 2 or 3 times this year. I may have listened to it once. I've definitely read the book enough that it's it's falling apart, and lovingly so. So this book is everything. This is another book in the superheroine collection from Ilva. Definitely worth checking out. It was the first book I read of Lee Winter. It made me fall in love with Lee Winter's writing, because her writing is just absolutely beautiful and encompassing, and my gosh, it hits you right in the feels. Also, the storyline is just so amazing. The characters are flawed and wonderful and just brilliant. So there's sci-fi-ness, there's superheroines, there's absolutely amazing things. There are dark, nefarious things happening and investigations, and I love it. All right. Favorite poetry book? 1,000 Mornings by Mary Oliver. I love Mary Oliver's words. Her poetry is amazing. This is actually my favorite book of hers I've read so far. It is just so absolutely beautiful. Poems that just, I can flick this open at any given time and just be like, oh yeah, I needed that. Excellent. Thank you, Mary. Brilliant. If you do like poetry, check her out. If you don't like poetry, well, I wasn't sure I did either until I found her. So maybe check her out anyway. I love Mary Oliver. Brilliant collection. All right. Now, the next one is my favorite narrated read because I had to. And that is None of the Ninth by Tamsin Muir. It was narrated by the absolutely incredible Moira Quirk. This book was just brilliant. Third book in the Locked Tomb series, and it was completely different from the first two books, and yet so the same. Like, it's amazing. Like, Tamsin Muir has managed to create this series where every book is entirely different. It just breaks your brain, and by the end it's kind of slowly put some of the pieces back together, and then it like twists and raises more questions for you, and I love it. And the humor, the dark, sarcastic humor of these books is fantastic, but the world is amazing as well. The characters, everything is just great. I mean, necromancers, I'm all for it. Bring it on. Okay, so now the top 5 books and shout outs of non-sapphic fiction, because hey, I read a variety sometimes, but I had to give these books shout outs because I love them. So the first one is Miracle Growth by Tim Mendes. Oh my gosh, this is so much fun, twisted. I mean, if you know Tim Mendes, you know what I'm talking about when I say you think of Tim, you think of tentacles. Him and his cosmic horror are hilarious. He twists them in weird different things, but this Miracle Growth was hilariously fun, dark and twisted, and just with the characters that they just took on lives of their own. It's twisted, you know, Alice in Wonderland kind of spooky things and Little Shop of Horror, and there are plants and twisted stuff. Go check it out. It is so fun. I actually did a buddy read review with the amazing Chris Banner on that one as well. I'll put the link down below. It was so much fun. All right, the next book was Inked by Rachel Renner. So cool. So absolutely cool. So this book is urban fantasy with portals. So it has portal world as well. It is so much fun. The main character is an absolute hot mess, and I love her for it. Is just brilliant. The dynamics of it, the main character just cracks me up. She is cute as hell, and her absolute obsession with her tattooist boss just becomes absolutely hilarious when she realizes he is not what she thinks he is. So much fun. Absolutely, you got to check this book out. The next one is Seasonals by my incredible friend and author Pamela Jeffs. I don't really know how to categorize it. It's a novella, a novelette maybe, but it's also 4 short stories that have come together to create this one story thread, and it is beautiful. Pamela's way of using such succinct and beautiful words. She finds the perfect word for just exactly what she wants you to feel and get wrapped up in. And it's so good. This is beautiful. It's about an alien that comes to Earth, and to protect the Earth, they have to basically embody one of the seasons and help 3 other entities embody their own seasons as well. And it is amazing and just incredible, the stories of each of these characters. The artwork by Caitlin McPherson is also absolutely incredible. So check it out. I just adore Pamela's writing, and this book, it got me. It got me with all the feels. Now, the next one is Sunshine by L.T. Emery. This is also a short read, but this book was just amazing. It's dystopian, and the world that they've created with it is just divine. The dynamics of it, the tech that's in it, the writing of it. I find that after I read this, I have thought about it on and off so many times because it was powerful and impactful and beautiful. All right, now, the last of my 5 top books I'm broken a bit about because I placed it down and I broke things. I placed it down somewhere and I didn't know there was water, and it has been so utterly damaged. But you know what? That just shows how much love I have for it, really. My books, my poor books, they do get beat up a bit. But this book is absolutely incredible. A Knife and a Blade by Adelaide Blake. Now, I did actually do an interview with Adelaide. I know she gave me the book, she signed it, and then I slightly destroyed it. But it's still legible, and it's still beautiful and wonderful. So this is an MM, and it's historical. It is speculative fiction. It is magic is involved, but there's such a dynamic between different cultures. It's definitely an enemies to less enemies. It's the first of a series, which I think is 3 books. Maybe it's 4. I could be getting that wrong. But it's amazing. The second book, I believe, is now out, which I have sitting there, and I'm getting to it hopefully over the Christmas break. So good. So good. Check it out. Brilliant. The last category, so that's 21 books. The last category is my favorite kids book. Now, this kids book is called The Little Morsel, and it is written by Alora Carter and Rachel Renner, and it is absolutely divine. It is about a retired dragon and a girl who stumbles upon his cave, and it is amazing. It touches on some really dark themes, and it is handled so perfectly and beautifully that it respects children, that they know way more than what we often try to bubble wrap them or kid glove them. But it represents so much hope in this book, and the writing is hilarious, and the humor that balances with these dark themes are absolutely fantastic. All right, so they're my 22-ish books. Well, there's 22 books, let's be honest, there's 22. But I do have to do a shout out to the 2 books I'm currently reading, because I haven't finished them yet, but I suspect they may fight their way onto this list anyway. So one of the books I'm currently reading is The Once and Future Witches by Alexi Harrow. I'm listening to the narration by, let me get this right, Gabra Zachman, and it is absolutely phenomenal. I am loving it. I have about 5 hours left on it, so I'm about 11 hours in. It's long, but it is absolutely phenomenal. The other book I'm reading is Jinxed by Rachel Renner. Yes, book 2 in the Gilded Blood series. I mentioned Inked earlier. Holy crap. So I'm halfway through this book, and I thought, how on earth is Rachel Renner going to make it more intense, make up the ante, make it more scary, basically more risky, for Talia, the main character. I don't know how she's done it, but she has. It's like making my heart pace. It is like anxiety spiking. And then just when you're like, oh God, you get this reprieve. And then you're like, okay, no, she's got this. She's got, oh my gosh. Now she's put her in high heels. I mean, really, what could she do to the girl? No, it is so much fun. There's humor and darkness and twistedness and wonderful, wonderful adventure. I am loving it, so I can't wait to finish that as well. So there we go, my 22-ish books of 2022. I will put all the links in the comments, and thanks y'all so much. Take care of yourselves. Look after each other. Be brave, be safe, be kind. Bye. Hey, it's me again, Neen Cohen, aka the Hyperactive Bookworm. I love being able to talk about books and writing and reading, and I love doing these. However, it does take me time and energy, and any support would be highly appreciated. If you like the videos, please don't be scared to hit like or to comment on them. All subscribers help toward keeping my passion projects going. You can also support me by buying me a coffee, and the link's down below. Thanks, y'all.